please put their microphones on mute. I'm going to ask you to, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
United States of America.
The republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to read right now the Right to Know checklist. This is the Town of Goffstown Right to Know law meeting. So, I apologize, I'm going to be reading from another screen just so I can watch all of you at the same time. As chair of the Goffstown Economic Development Committee, due to the COVID-19 outbreak and in accordance with Governor Sununu's Emergency Order Number 12 pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the Governor's Emergency Order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. The town is utilizing WebEx platform for this electronic meeting. The public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in the meeting through dialing the following telephone number, 603-766-JOIN, which is 5646, and using the participant code 785645, followed by the pound sign. B, providing notice of necessary information for accessing the meeting. The town previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting using the available telephone number with the posted agenda. C, providing a mechanism for public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem with telephone access, please call 603-384-3624. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. Please note that all votes that are taken during the meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, also please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under Right to Know law. Greg Rodriguez, chair. Nobody else is in the room.
I'm Bonnie Gavin, and I'm a member of the, I'm a member.
Do you want to go next?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Yep, I am. I'm Chet Bowen, Select Board Rep, and I'm the only one in the room.
Gail?
I'm Gail, excuse me, I'm Gail LeBrecq, and I am a member, and I am the only one in the room.
Ellen?
Ellen Markowitz, I am a member and I am alone.
And I'm Joanne Duffy, Planning and Economic Development Director, and we have a guest with us tonight. Dave, you want to introduce yourself, Dave?
Yes, I'm Dave Lawton with Goffstown Main Street, and I'm in the room by myself. Thank you.
I'm going to start off with approval of the minutes. Does anybody have the chance to review the minutes from the previous agenda from 3/4/2020?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Anybody?
I'll second that.
All right. Does anybody want to discuss the motion or discuss the second of the motion? All right, let's call for a vote to motion to approve.
So,
Say aye.
You need a roll call.
yeah, we need to do a roll call.
You need to do a roll call.
All right. Bonnie,
Aye.
Chet,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes,
Ellen,
Abstain.
Joanne. All in favor? All opposed?
Mark's on too, Greg, sorry.
Oh, Mark. Okay, I'm sorry. Mark, I didn't see you. Mark?
Yes, I agree, and I am alone in the room. So
There we go.
Okay, sorry. All right. All opposed? The motion carries. All right. I guess we're going to move on to new business. Welcome, Ellen. to the EDC board. Thank you for joining us and making
Thank
the
you.
board a little bit better and bringing your experience to the board. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you volunteering your time to help out Goffstown in this.
Thank you.
Can everybody mute because there's a lot of scraping noise going on, so please mute.
I guess the next item up is election of electing a vice chair. Do we have any volunteers to elect a vice chair, or to be a vice chair? I guess.
I thought you were doing it.
Sorry?
Bonnie, are you vice chair?
I didn't
I thought we
volunteer,
talked
but
about that last time. Sorry.
we did kind of, but I mean, I'm happy to do
Sure.
whatever I need to do to help out. Of course.
Mark, that sounded a little bit like a nomination. Is that what that was?
I nominate Bonnie as vice chair. For consideration, anyways.
Wait a
I'll second that. I'll second that.
Okay, so Gail seconds that. All right, Paul. Does Bonnie vote for herself in this?
She can.
She can.
Oh.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Let's call a roll. Bonnie.
I abstain.
Good stay. Gail.
Yes.
Beth.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Ellen.
Yes.
Joanne.
Yes.
So yeah, everybody carries motion for yes. Nobody opposes. Welcome, Bonnie, as vice chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Look forward to working with you, as everybody else does.
Yeah, I look forward to working with everybody on the committee. It'll be good.
Excellent. All right, awesome. I guess this moves us on to Joanne with business outreach. It looks like it's on hold. I don't know if there's
Yes,
much updates to provide.
I have had conversations with Stephen Mino, who is the person we're working with at UNH Extension. There's really nothing we can do at this point. We have put together the list of businesses. We'd like to narrow it down. Obviously, we're not going to have a roundtable discussion with every business in Pinardville. So we'd like to narrow that list down, which we can still do at this time. But as far as having those roundtable discussions, we'll have to wait until things open up again. So that's where we're at. I mean, it's moving along, but it's sort of semi on hold right now. I just wanted to bring to your attention, there is an opportunity. It's called Creating Opportunities for Businesses in Times of Crisis, that they are putting on a webinar. It's on May 15th from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. I can send out the information to all of you through email, and if it's free, if you're interested and you want to sign on, it might be helpful to have some information that we can obtain from others.
I think that'd be great to send that out to them. Now, is UNH leading that webinar?
Excuse me?
Is UNH leading that webinar? The same folks?
It was either, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was UNH, yes.
Okay.
It was UNH, that's right. I
Okay.
registered, and they haven't sent me the confirmation yet, but they usually do that as it gets closer to the webinar. So I've attended a few that they've done recently, and they're pretty informative and they're short. You know, it's only an hour, so it's not bad. But yes, I will definitely send you the information.
Thanks. Any other updates about Project of Pinardville businesses?
I had a question.
Sure. Ellen, go ahead.
Oh, okay. When we're speaking about the Pinardville businesses, is this primarily Mast Road or also those that are off of Mast Road?
It's all of Pinardville. It's not
Okay.
restricted to Mast Road.
Because there are a number of streets that have businesses, small ones on them. And I was wondering if they were included. Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else have questions for Joanne? We're going to move on to select board goals for economic development. Chet, your area.
Sure. The select board began looking at its goals for the year. And during that process, economic development was something that I thought we should add to those goals. And I also offered to lead the charge, as they say, because it's something that I'm passionate about and I feel is very important. So when we started to put together these ideas, I want to stress that these ideas are currently in their infancy. And I wanted to bring up a few things that I think are very specific to the EDC. The select board will be doing things outside of this as well, but these are specific to the EDC. In my view, the select board is looking to operationalize the EDC so that we can have a practical impact on the businesses in Goffstown. I think we would all agree that we've had some wonderful discussions over the past couple of years, at least since I've been on it. And I don't know that we've seen a ton of action. And what's something that I'm hoping to see from the select board purview in utilizing the EDC is some action around these goals. If we all recall, there's been some discussions over the past couple of years about helping certain businesses, and there's been a philosophical sort of back and forth on the council. Everyone making great points about if we're going to help business A and we're not helping business B may have a problem with that, which makes all the sense in the world to me. So one of the ideas I just started to discuss at the select board level with the chair, and I also discussed with Derek, was taking a sector by sector approach. And Ellen, I think to your point about Pinardville, when we look at those focuses, as a team on the EDC, I think we need to we need to identify what we would consider a sector. Is it all of Pinardville? Is it all of Main Street? Is it all of the Grassmere area? Really taking a look at that, and I think that would be the first piece we would look at. But the idea is that because our objective is so large, economic development, we have been slightly paralyzed by not being able to do much with a focus. And so what I thought was we develop a sector by sector approach, with the most important piece of that being we are transparent about who is next, so that there will not be an argument or someone going, well, you helped these businesses on Main Street, what about me? That person that would ask that question, and I think rightfully so, will know when it will be their turn. And it will allow us as an economic development council to focus sector by sector, identifying the unique issues that those businesses face for whatever reason in that area. So, and they're different, and it also depends on what kind of business it is. So allowing us the chance to really reach out sector by sector and have a focus would be great. In my initial thoughts on this, we're looking at about a 6-month period for each. So that would cover 6 meetings, and then any work done by identified people that are willing to take on a certain project in between 6 months. We take a look at it, and then we would go from there. I don't know that we need to necessarily discuss all of these tonight, but I think it's something to think about for the next meeting, so we can all come back with some ideas about, what is a sector? Is 6 months an appropriate amount of time? Should it be longer? Should it be seasonal? Those are some questions. The second one, if you'll give me a second, I have to go back to the agenda, remind myself. Yes, the rail trail bridge. So speaking of sector by sector, my goodness, would Main Street benefit from a bridge at the end of the rail trail that would bring someone into downtown to go to, I hesitate to say specific names, but to go to restaurants or to get a haircut or to buy toys for their children or to check out some shops that sell some very unique things. And a lot of this traffic comes in from Manchester as well as Goffstown. And I think if we had a bridge from the end of the rail trail over, it would create I truly believe, a significant amount of foot traffic. And I do think that there is a lot of support for that. I do know that there are some that are concerned about the view. I think that we can find a way to speak to that. And there's absolutely concern about the cost. And I think that we need to speak to that as well and take a real look at what it would cost and what options we have as a town, working mainly through Joanne and Derek as well, on how we can get some grants or some funding and maybe partner up with maybe even a private enterprise to figure out a way to make that happen. But that, I think, is a major piece of the puzzle that I think could benefit a lot of the businesses there. The other piece membership recruitment. So I spoke with Joanne, keep me honest, but I spoke with Joanne today. And in membership recruitment, I think, across all ages, it's wonderful, but getting some younger members would be helpful, as well as some of those who've been in the town for quite some time. I think Greg's a perfect example. Someone who walks in and says, "Sure, I'll be the chair during a pandemic, no problem." That's the kind of stuff we want to see. And Joanne and I talked about some of the issues that face the generation I think that is sort of after me, which is really the length of meetings and looking, if we can as a council decide, we can't say that we have to do this, but as a council decide to limit our meetings when we can to somewhere around an hour, to do a lot of the work ahead of time before we actually get into the room, so that our conversations can be precise and crisp and get to the point and move forward. And Joanne and I also talked about making sure that anything, and Joanne, if this is not your understanding, please let me know, but I think anything that would come up in the meeting should be in the agenda ahead of time. So sometimes I think a lot of people with great intentions at the end of a meeting say, "Oh, and there's this," and then it creates another conversation for their half an hour when everyone thinks it's about time to adjourn. I think with younger members, that'll really speak to them. It'll keep their interest and it'll keep them coming back and actually want to be a part of it. And going back, I have one more thing, and this is my apologies, Joanne. I neglected to mention this to you today. It was something I forgot to say. One other piece that I think the Economic Development Council could really work together on is we have the luxury of Tim Redmond from the Planning Board in our meetings. And having a real substantive update about what's going on with planning and the businesses would be great. And eventually, I don't see this happening in year one, but eventually the Economic Development Council might be able to develop I don't want to say task force because that's overused, but some sort of initiative that will allow new businesses coming into Goffstown to face as little surprises as possible during the planning process, so that they feel that they are prepared, that they're ready to go, and that the planning board also feels like there's enough respect for that process that they're ready. Maybe we could be helpful there. I'm sure Tim can tell you a number of stories about people who've shown up woefully unprepared. On the flip side, I think some people have shown up prepared and then been surprised anyway. So I think there's a happy medium we can meet there, working with Tim, getting updates from him, and then maybe suggestions to him. And as a sort of side to that, looking at a lot of what we can do about site-ready plans. I know we already talked about this a few months ago, but screaming to businesses, our median age is 40-something years old. You have a customer base here with income that is above the average, that will spend money in this town if you show up. If we have site-ready plans that people can come in, it's already ready to go, it's hooked up maybe to gas and sewer. These are just some long-term, this is more long-term. The other ones I'm talking about are more short-term. But as a long-term goal, I think that we're very fortunate to have a planning board member on this council to help us. That being said, hopefully I didn't talk too much or too long. I tried to make that quick. That being said, all of these things I think are wonderful points of focus. Before we do anything else, we're going to have to look strongly at economic recovery as our first point of order as a council. We didn't expect this. We didn't want this. Nobody wanted this, but it has been extremely impactful to small businesses, especially. With that being said, I think Greg actually already had the idea to talk about this, so I don't want to steal that thunder. I can pass it right over to Greg, but that was it for me and what I wanted to update the council on.
Well, thank you for stealing my thunder, Chet. So what I mentioned to Joanne for the agenda this past week was talking about the real state of affairs, what our businesses are actually going to be facing and what they're facing right now. This is a tough time. I think it's for everybody. This is going to be a tough time moving forward. But we may see a lot of businesses shut down because a lot of Goffstown is mom and pop. We have the big businesses, bigger businesses in Pinardville, but as you move towards Main Street and downtown Goffstown, those are the shops that are really going to be affected by this pandemic. I think this falls heavily on this committee to help them and bring ideas like Chet, of a rail trail bridge, things like that. These are the ideas we need to have to bring businesses back if they do shut down. I know a few small business over, and they're worried. They're really worried about what's going to happen. If we reopen too soon, or we may be shut down again. It may be even worse. So these are the things that they're genuinely worried about. I'm not saying I have constituents at all, but these are friends who have the same concerns as other small business owners. I think that's a discussion that we can have for about 10 minutes, and to see if we've talked to people in the community about this. Go ahead, Ellen.
And I don't know if it's too late because I don't know what the deadlines were for the CARES program and the PPP programs, but has the Economic Development Council, or could it, reach out to these small businesses and encourage them and help them to apply for these monies? Because some, I think, are a little hesitant and afraid, and don't know quite how to go about doing it. Don't realize you really need to stay on top of your bank that you're using. You can get lost in the shuffle, so to speak. But I would, and like I said, I don't know when it's over and done. I don't know when the money will run out in this second round. But boy, I would think there might be a few businesses that could benefit from the help with that.
I agree. I think, I don't know if we can be a liaison to that. I don't know if we have the manpower for that, but I think posting resources on our Facebook page or on the town website, something that is possible for Goffstown to do. Or we could follow that information through with Debbie Chet or somebody else. But
I have been posting all of the information that I've been receiving from the state. I have been posting on Facebook, and I've also been sending out emails to the businesses that I have emails for, letting them know that this money is now available, the second round. I did hear back from one business owner, and we had a discussion, and he was concerned because he had some questions that he felt he didn't have answers for. So I did hook him up with the person from the state to talk directly to him. So I think he was satisfied with that. But yeah, we're certainly trying to reach the public through social media right now, just letting them know what's going on with that.
And if I may, one other thing that, from talking with one of our village business people, yes, they have people on staff who were employees and who still have a job with them, but refuse to go in because they're making more money not working. I don't know, I have no idea if we can do anything to assist our small businesses throughout the town in getting people to hire. Because there are jobs out there that the existing employee doesn't want to take because they can make money not working.
Does anyone know how long that extra unemployment money is being offered? Because I think once that changes, that whole scenario will change. Dave has his hand up.
Dave raised his hand. So did
And
Gail.
Gail.
Dave and Gail.
Yeah, it runs through July.
July 31st, I believe, right?
Yep, that's right.
30th. Yeah. Gail, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, I was going to say that I was reading that it runs through this pandemic.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I also read today, besides the PPP, there's the EIDL loan, but that one is taking no more applications unless it's an agricultural business.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw out there that there's also New Hampshire Employment Security / Medicaid have worked on an extra stipend for those on the front lines. And I think to Ellen's point, I mean, and again, I want to be really careful here because there is a strong philosophical divide about whether or not that's incentivizing people who could be sick to go into work. So I want to put that on record that is certainly an issue to consider. But I do know that particular program is currently slated to end June 30th with the final payment going out July 3rd. So there are a lot, and kudos to those who have put effort in to help each individual who's struggling. But there are a lot of businesses right now, to Ellen's point, that are struggling because, yeah, you can stay home, you can feel safer, and you don't have to go in. And there are no easy answers to that question because we certainly don't want to incentivize someone who's sick. I think within context, as we get more guidance from those who know how this virus spreads and how we can stay safe, I think then hopefully we can infuse small businesses with some ideas that can incentivize their workers to come back if we are sure they're going to be safe while doing so. So
it's tough because of the fluidity of it. 2 weeks, this whole landscape could change, and we could be in stricter orders or looser orders. So,
Greg?
Yep.
Do we know, Joanne, what percentage of emails do you have for the small businesses approximately?
Oh, just a small percentage, I'd say.
Okay, so going forward, I think that's probably one of the goals that we need to make sure that we have is the email and contact information for each of these businesses, because when something like this happens, we can get information out to them immediately.
Right.
So moving forward, I would say that would be a good thing to do.
Yep. Agreed.
like a COVID task force. I know Chet likes the word task force. Does anybody else want to add anything to this conversation?
I have just a couple things. I saw today on Facebook that the Manchester Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring what they call a takeout day on May 14th. And they're just encouraging people to order takeout from your favorite restaurant. And I was thinking maybe we could somehow do something very similar here. We don't have as many restaurants, but we have enough that it would make it feasible. And post something on Facebook and have everyone share it and just try to get something going. We can, do it not that same day, but, maybe the week after or something.
Can you put something together so that we can all have that and we can put it out we can post it on like the Nextdoor, all the different ones that are out there. I'd be happy to post.
Okay, that'd be great.
Share on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And then there was something that was started by a man, by a man in town. He purchased $100 gift certificate from one of the local restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
And then he put a notice up on Facebook that it was almost like an auction sort of thing where people would bid. And the highest bid was $200.
Wow.
And so the money was actually donated. The difference, the $100 difference, was actually donated to the food pantry. So the food pantry wound up with an extra $100, and the restaurant wound up selling a $100 gift certificate. So if something like that could be started by others for other places, at least that would give them a little bit of business. There's also people who are, I don't know if there's many in Goffstown doing this, but some of the restaurants in Manchester are doing what they call meal kits, such as that I know 900 Degrees, you could purchase a kit to make your own pizza. Or other places are doing family meals, so they're doing like a blanket price, say whatever it is, $55 for a family of 4. They all get a meal and dessert. I think the Foundry is doing that. So if they could start getting maybe a little more creative, I think that the Trestle is doing a wonderful job in promoting themselves. They're on Facebook every single morning, posting their menu. They're really out there. I think they're definitely in your face, so to speak, when you go on that different sites out there. They're doing a great job. And Putnam's, Putnam's is doing the same. They're posting twice a day with their lunch menu and then their evening menu. And I think some of the other restaurants are not as well, they're not as visible. So if maybe they could possibly be encouraged to do a little bit more with that, because I think more and more as people are staying home, they're probably using Facebook more than ever because they're bored. So I think they really needs to be a presence, a really strong presence right now for these business owners.
Is busy all the time now. So they have a great takeout. But places like North Garden, Shaking Crab, they're all closed.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not doing any takeout. And, had they continued to do something like that, maybe
Right.
they would have done better.
North Garden has, I saw it on Facebook that they were coming back and doing takeout.
Right, they are coming back, but right now they've been closed for weeks now.
Bonnie,
So-
just to piggyback on that, Ollie's, I was pretty impressed on how they set it up. It was real safe. To be honest, I wasn't even thinking about getting takeout and got a craving. Finally, we broke down and we needed pizzas last Friday. And so, all right, we'll take a chance, go off. And it's just amazing. Basically, they have you go in one direction, go around through the bar. So there's no contact. You always have your 6 feet of safe distance. So it's something I felt really safe about. We'll definitely be going again. I feel good because obviously it's helping the local economy. But and that word out there too, that these businesses are doing it in a safe way, and we can start this again as a community. So, hopefully it's set up in a safe manner, like Ollie's took the time to do, and that these restaurants can start seeing more business because of that.
And Charlie's on Mass Road is doing social media presence a lot too. So,
Oh, yeah.
right, Ellen?
Yes, Acopio, the clothing store, the women's store, is that Acopio?
Copia.
Acopia. I saw on Facebook today, they're offering gift certificates if people want to get a gift certificate for somebody through them, to help them. I saw that just today, which I think will be nice if the public also supported them. I think Goffstown's doing a very nice job, as far as I can tell, supporting our restaurants and the takeouts. And I don't know if the coffee shop by Ace, give me its name.
That is closed. Apotheca is open for curbside
Okay,
or at-home deliveries.
okay, all
If
right.
you order something on their website, they will bring it to your car, or they'll.
And the new, I'm gonna call it a gift shop, but I don't know, that's coming in over by the laundromat on one half of the big white building next to the common. I've seen flowers outside being
Yes.
sold.
She is going to be open on the weekends for the time being.
Okay,
I think her opening is this weekend.
it'd be nice to get that out there somehow on social media.
I have a list going on the town's Facebook page of all of the open businesses, and I've been updating it. I just updated it again today. So she is included on that list.
Okay,
Watoy was also included because I forgot to put them on the first time. There's another business that's opening now. It just popped out of my head.
I did takeout from Watoy the other night, and they're not really doing the social distancing, which was there were like 5 people in there in the lobby there waiting. So I went back outside and just waited for my order to be ready, but it was interesting.
How do you know the order's ready? Do they come call your name or no?
Well, they just ask you what your name is when you walk in. So I told them my name and I said, I'll be outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I have only done, what do they call drive up or curbside? So I've not gone into any places. I've just ordered from whatever and then driven up. Even Sully's for groceries, they bring it, you don't have to deal with them at all. They just come and put it inside your back of your car and leave. So that's what I've been doing for everything that I've done so far. So I don't plan on going into any restaurants or grocery stores in the near
As long as we're
future.
staying safe. That's a good thing. And action or agenda items 5 and 6. Does anybody want to add anything to brainstorming ideas? know Dave-
If I may, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Okay, go ahead.
I think more and more people are using the Goffstown, various Facebook, social media, what is it, Goffstown Happenings, Helping Neighbor,
The real deal.
The Real Deal. I think there's about 3 or 4 of them, at least that I'm aware of and that I'm on. Putting things on there might help people a lot more, because I have a feeling that's where people are getting their news and stuff from, is
Yep.
from that local social media.
And that's what I was
and that
talking
covers
about.
all of
Yeah.
Goffstown, so, yeah.
That's what I was talking about. So if we can have a brochure about the May 14th thing, I'd be happy to go and post on those because I'm a member of all of those. So, but we have to make sure that all of our businesses know that too, and that they're on board. So we can't just say, okay, May 14th, go and do this. If
Oh,
our-
sure. Yeah.
You know,
Stacked appropriately.
Yeah, we have to contact them first. Yep.
right.
I'm sorry, Dave, I interrupted you, I think.
I was about to ask for Dave, since Dave is joining us tonight, if he wanted to add any comment.
Yeah, well, I would just say a couple things. One, Ellen, I'm not running this group yet, so you can use the chairman's name. We did the similar thing with putting out people's hours. We went through and vetted everybody to make sure that because I don't know if you guys have noticed when you look at people's social media pages that a lot of them have not updated, whether they're open, whether they're closed, whether their hours are different. And so I went through and called every single one that we got up there, and I still got one wrong. But I think that getting people on board was going to be pretty straightforward on these things. I found people their egos are down, so they're much more willing, I think, to go along with any program that we're putting together. But I think the social media and putting that out over and over, and if there's someone comfortable enough, like someone was talking about Bonnie, I think, about seeing them doing practices. I know in the part of the Goffstown that we work for, I've actually given advice a couple times. I don't know the people at the trestle because I had the same experience. They weren't really social distancing, so I didn't say anything. But I think that that's actually very helpful to them, because if they tighten something up, maybe the next 5 people won't have to see that and then not go back. Because after I got food from the trestle, the way they were doing it, I'm like, yeah, the food was good. Like I expected it would be decent and acceptable, but I'm not going to go back if that's how they're running their operation. So I think that's another factor and it's tough because they're probably not used to it. I don't know how that would work with you guys as, representatives of the municipal government. But for me, a couple times I've given advice on social media or how they do things. And I think when they take it, that helps them in ways that maybe they won't ever see, but that I think could be impactful.
I think it's kind of almost weird now that if you don't social distance at your place of business, it can be seen as a pariah. So you want to do what everybody else is doing just to stay safe at the moment. I mean, stay safe permanently, because this is going to change how we do business forever and how we communicate. Handshakes can become a thing of the past. So,
is there a CDC brochure that we can give to our places that says here's the right way to be running, the social distancing? I think that there's something available.
Dave, go ahead. You had a hand raised.
Yeah, there's also some stuff on Sununu's website where he's rolling out the different dates for the different parts of of business that can open up, and there's some universal precautions that include a lot of that social distancing stuff. So one of the things I'm working on is just getting a little description and a link to the folks that we deal with, so that they can look at it, print it out, whatever. But it's the very high profile page within the governor's web section of the web page for the state.
Does anybody else have anything to add?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
Anybody second that motion?
Second.
All right. Bonnie?
Yep.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, sorry. Gail?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Yes,